Hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the AI Clubhouse. Ginger's here. Steve's wearing his I'm ready to go golfing. Scott Schang.
But is that better? Not really.
Scott is hatless today.
Yeah. Hey, it's super hot for you, Steve, right? You're getting like record heat.
We're going to roll over 100 this weekend.
Wow. How about you, Scott, in the middle of the country in Colorado?
Yeah, the weather's been gorgeous. It did hit the 90s on the weekend, low 90s, and then the next day it dropped 20 degrees. Today it's like 71. Two days ago it was 92. So we got a couple of days in the 70s, and then we're going to get back up to the high 80s and 90s.
Yeah, which is perfect. I miss that about Colorado. Just, very comfortable mountain air. Very nice.
My second spring and summer. So I don't really have any perspective. I just know it's gorgeous outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I can tell you in the Pacific Northwest, it was rainy over the weekend. I was in Seattle at a graduation. Cold, rainy, and I think it's our high today in Portland is going to be 83. So nice, cool. So if you want to cool down, Steve, you know where to go. But if you want to talk about AI, that's what we're going to talk about here. So, Steve, I'm going to let you lead off because you said when we were in the green room that you have an AI story to share. So,
well, I wanted you to lead off with what you decided was going to happen.
Oh, I can do that.
I think that my story will bleed into that well.
Okay. So, so here's the thing, guys. This live stream, Scott and I have been conducting this now for over 4 years, every Wednesday. So every Wednesday, 10:30 Pacific time. We started off with video and we called it Video Mastermind. Oh, Scott is frozen. And then we turned it into mortgage influencers because a lot of people were wanting to know how to expand out of just video to do podcasts and workshops and things like that. So we were focusing on that as far as social media. And then when AI started happening last year, everybody wanted to know about AI. And so we switched the beginning of the year in January to the AI Clubhouse with a focus on AI and how you can use AI in your business. So that's what we've been doing for the last 6 months. And we have had fair attendance, interest. We've had great speakers on here, but we honestly just decided, I think everybody's busy right now, focused on business making activities, which makes sense. And so AI has taken a back burner, and understandably so. And so we just decided to take the summer off and say, you know what, everybody focus on business, focus what you need to do. We'll come back in the fall. We'll have speakers on, different things to talk about. But I think, and this happens, Steve, we've seen this, right? I mean, it's like you're running a business. So guess what? Even though AI is something to pay attention to, AI you want to involve in your business, but it's not everything about your business. And so that's really what we've been hearing and what we've been seeing. So that's why we decided we're going to take the summer off and let people focus on business building activities, things that they need to do. We'll still be putting information out there about AI and things to pay attention to. We may hop on a webinar once in a while, but just like, those who are listening and watching focus on business building activities, we run businesses as well. So if we're not getting a lot of eyeballs and, people that are attending, then we're going to put our focus someplace else. So we want your feedback, and invite people, as we've been doing this to be able to help people learn, but we want to know that it is helpful. So that's why we made the decision. We're just going to take the summer off. Was that a good leadway for your story?
But while you're taking the summer off,
Yes.
that doesn't mean that you're just on vacation. It doesn't mean that you're not thinking. It doesn't mean that you're not growing.
Yeah.
What I think happens a lot of times within this group is we have a tremendous amount of diversity of experience. We have some people who don't know how to spell AI, and we have some people that are, elbows deep in AI, and they're doing it. We have everywhere in between. And sometimes it's sort of, I don't like the phrase back to the basics, but you even said, Ginger, hey, we started off talking about social media. I did something yesterday just because I've been down the road of AI, so I sort of backed up a little bit. And I went to ChatGPT and I typed in and you put your prompt in. I just did it real loose. I said, who are the top 10 salespeople of all time and what can you learn? And give me a lesson from each one of them. Boom. This one, lesson. This one, lesson. This one, lesson. And you know what I did? I put that literally without putting any Steve input in it. I said, folks, I asked ChatGPT this. Here's the top 10 salespeople according to ChatGPT and a lesson from each one of them. I've had over 1,000 impressions on it, multiple comments, multiple. And so everybody says, well, how do I do it? And how specific do I have to get? And how deep down? And do I have to put my NMLS number in there? And how do I create 8 different prompts? And I want to put a video in it. And I'm not talking to the video and edit. Stop. I did the most basic thing with 0 content from me. And I'm getting over 1,000 impressions and people going, that's really great, Steve. I wonder what you're going to post next week. And I'm going, okay, I got to figure out something else to ask ChatGPT. So if you are looking for business development, you are looking to integrate AI and whatnot, don't think that you have to be so sophisticated and formal with it. You know, just the nuts and bolts will provide value for you.
Well, and taking it one step further, so good. I am so proud of you for doing that. And a good idea, right? The other thing that you did is you didn't just ask it for something that was related to you. The prompt you asked was something that would help others. And so by using the ChatGPT and getting those, the 5 lessons that you can learn from the top sales professionals, and then posting that onto social media, you're showing them twofold. First, you can use ChatGPT for a variety of ways to get information that's helpful to others. And then you're also giving them content that's helpful to them. And so that double creativity and connectivity is brilliant. And so it's not just the ChatGPT that I think is getting your interaction, although the questions are interesting as far as that you're seeing on that. But you're putting yourself in the middle of what people are talking about, AI, ChatGPT, right? But you're doing it with your Steveism of lessons learned. And that's what people want to do when they're starting using AI, is to be able to use it in ways that's going to help you in your business, but then also use it in a way that's going to be a part of you, if that makes sense.
Well, and then let's take the next thing, because you just made me think of this. As I'm looking, and I read it all the lessons. First off, most of the people are older. But second off, none of the lessons were, I used AI and my business tripled, and therefore everybody should use AI. That was not the lesson learned. This is the tool for you to use to get all this additional information.
Yep.
Yeah, I would I like that. I've done a lot of that type of thing. I think the most important thing we have to really keep in the top of our mind is it's not a new marketing tool. Everybody wants to use it as a marketing tool. It's so much more than that. And it's just like, it was direct mail. And then all the internet is using best practices for direct mail. And then they started doing it digitally. And now people are using AI and they're like, well, how do I use it to create marketing content? So to do an interesting dimension to what you did, Steve, is to understand why AI gave you those is give me the top 10 salespeople, give me why, and then give me the reason why you think they're one of the top 10 salespeople. Give me the reason why you chose this person. And then what is the lesson that I should learn from this? And then that'll kind of give you some even deeper perspective on that. And then I'll tell you something that's really fun that I've started doing is you can use AI to as a brainstorming buddy. So you can say, act like Walt Disney and engage with me in a conversation so that I can learn how to better market my business through your eyes. And then you can have a conversation with Walt Disney, and it'll come from his perspective, everything he's ever written, everything he's ever said, everything that ever's done through his perspective, because I would say he's one of the great marketers and great salespeople in the entire planet, right? In our recent history. So think about it in terms of that, not, can you write me a blog post to first time home?
Oh.
So there, he's back. He's
He's
back.
back.
Oh, that was my best rant ever.
No,
And
no,
you got
no. We
stuck
just
at
missed the last 8
the
seconds.
first time
of it.
home, and that's where you got stuck.
Oh, okay. So no, that's okay. No, I'm just saying you can use it. You can say, write me a blog post to first time home buyers, or you can say, help me understand how Walt Disney thinks about creating an experience that people can't live without. And think of it in that way. Use it as an introspective tool, not just a broadcast tool to just recycle and repurpose the same marketing messages that everybody's always ever done. Right. So that's how what I would encourage people to start doing is the marketing stuff, absolutely. But also use it to try to grow, change your perspective on how you think about your business. Am I frozen again?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
We're just listening in depthly to you.
That's my 2 cents.
Well worth it. So as we, talk about marketing and how to use it as far as their marketing, we had Fred on, and I haven't looked to see if Fred's on. I don't know if he's on today.
Yep, Fred's on.
Fred's on. So Fred, I don't know if you're in a point, if you want to hop on with us, we can bring you on as well. Because that's one of the things as far as marketing that I think Fred has been able to really bring in a lot is to do that. So I'm going to promote you to a panelist, Fred, and you can come on.
Instant promotion.
It has been promoted. Because I think that's, and
Okay.
again, this is one of those things. Let me see if Fred.
I'm here, but I have no camera.
Yeah, he has no camera. Okay. Well, we will hear you then. Because Scott brought up a very good point of that using it for marketing, but taking it one step further.
Mhm.
And so saying using it as far as thinking outside of the standard first time home buyers, and relating to, because you bring up, okay, Disney. So let's take that and combine the two of them. So it's like, okay, I'm a mortgage loan originator. Fred, you being a regional manager, you have LOs on your team. So, you have the standard thing that you want them to be doing, or if you're producing that or whatever. But in order to stand out, that's an interesting concept you bring, Scott, to have a conversation with ChatGPT and say, if Walt Disney were creating a interactive experience or marketing experience for first-time homebuyers, what would that look like? So that's the part of the creativity. And I know, Fred, you talked a lot about that as far as how that's one of those things that you use it for as well, right?
Right. And it's funny, Scott, you mentioned that. I'm like, okay, that'd be really funny if all of a sudden you got taught by Mickey Mouse and Goofy about how to do something.
Yeah.
Isn't that what's happening on this webinar right now?
Yeah, exactly. And you think that's weird. Why?
You're right, exactly. But, I think the more and more, and, just to comment, I mean, I appreciate obviously, the intent of business development and what everybody wants to do. obviously I'm just sucking everything up, drinking the water through the fire hose with everybody with every single week that I take this. And obviously I'm using it for business development because this is the next approach. And Steve, I think you brought this up a couple of weeks ago, is that, okay, now is this replacing the new Google? So again, which one of us or who wants to be on that top 10 list, kind of representing, your particular type of region, whether it's real estate, whether it's lending, whatever the group is, how do you then get into that permutation of ChatGPT in order to be that top 10? So when somebody, goes and says and researches, I want the top 10 professional people in Ames, Iowa, in order to get pre-approved for a loan in Aiken. I mean, there was that specific. And I think that is going to be our next challenge, at least for me, of how now I want to start using this, is that I want to, go that business development, and whether it's working with my credit unions, the builders, realtors, whoever it is. Now, how do I take that and just get that much more in depth? So that way, again, the Gretzky, I want to be where the puck is going to be, not where it's been.
Well, and I think that's been Ginger's superpower for decades now, because the answer to that is super simple. You have to be able to be found. That's it. It's that simple. If somebody's like announcing it to a crowd, hey, are there any loan officers here? And you're not in that crowd, they're not going to find you. So I think that's super, super valuable. I mean, and AI can help you create more of that content. But now that you've got the partnership with ChatGPT and Apple, and now OpenAI is going to be integrated with Siri, now it's going to be giving you contextual information, which means you've got to get your information into ChatGPT, start training it on who you are so that you can be found in those searches, whether you already exist in Google. But if you're not publishing content, you're not doing video, you're not transcribing it into blogs, and it's not showing up in Google, AI is not trained on it.
Right.
So very, very
That goes
valuable.
to making that's a good point as far as getting your information out there. And this is always my challenge. And I feel like so many times people feel like you check the box because you post some things on social media. And it's almost, in my opinion, that it's getting off social media and getting onto more of the public open face platforms, like what you are putting into ChatGPT, what videos you're putting onto YouTube, what videos and posts you're putting onto your blog posts, what you're contributing in the written word on articles at different publications. Not just, it really, it's getting outside of that. Posting something on social media is only one tiny, tiny little piece, and that is not going to have an impact on you being found in ChatGPT or any of the AI sources.
Yeah, and I would say it's an and, not an or, because those are silos, those are closed ecosystems.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
when you
that's
talk
it.
when you join that community, you're only talking to that community. You're not talking to the world at large. So it's an and. So carry that conversation outside of those silos. And they're great silos. And you may really resonate with one. Well, they're great till they're not.
Yep.
Right? Till the government decides you can't use that platform anymore for whatever reason.
Yep.
Or or whatever is going on with those things. They make decisions and they change. So it's.
Yeah, I agree with Scott was saying, because he just froze there. But where I look at and I'm always big in analogies outside of our business, I always think about the grocery store. You can go through full service checkout. You can go through self-serve checkout. They will put the groceries in your car for you, or they will deliver the groceries for you. Which one should they be doing? And because some people are on Facebook, some people are on Instagram. Oh,
yeah.
I'm not sure where we got Scott. But they're all over the place, and they don't talk to one another. Actually, some of them are battling and they say, if you're going to post something over there, we're going to penalize you for it over here. So
Right.
you really need to look at it as an end.
Yeah.
I like that concept.
And making sure you're having that mix. And you can repurpose to other things too. You know, podcasts are a great example. And it's interesting when you think about what's happening with Apple now and ChatGPT. So, you know, our podcast goes on to all the podcast streaming platforms, one of which is Apple, right? And so when you think about that, if you have your content out, whether it be a podcast, whether it be your videos, then that is something that is going to be picked up, in my opinion. And I don't know this, but I would think as they're going through this, that's the whole idea, right? So then as the integration happens, then that all that information that's on the Apple podcast is also going to be part of what is into ChatGPT. And so making sure that you are doing those other things to be found, getting your name out there on a repetitive basis. And I think that's the other thing too, is making sure you're having that repetition. And in social media, you know, you make a post and it's great for, you know, a certain amount of time, but you want to think about what are the things you can do that will be more evergreen, that will last longer. And that's the thing in my mind that you want to think about as you're building. I think we might have lost Scott. I think his internet is out.
Now,
So when the
Fred,
thing
are you
comes,
from
yeah, so actually,
Ames, Fred?
well, actually, the office I work out of is in Ames. So I live in a small town that's actually north of Ames that has 1,200 people in it, which is
So have you been
basically
to have
smaller
you
than
been to
my
the
graduating class.
have you been to the Mucky Duck?
Yes, I have actually. We. How do you know about that, Steve?
See, you can always connect with people when it comes to food and restaurants. It's the easiest thing to do, I'm telling you.
That is awesome. That the guy's story is actually very unique. We actually were there a couple times. Actually, we did I think it was a Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner there. And it was actually quite frankly, and a great experience. Again, small town, you know, coming from, you know, obviously, you know, the pond, you know, across the pond where he calls it, and basically the reasons why he ended up in Ames and what he wanted to create. So yeah, it was definitely a great experience on that one. That's funny.
Sorry, I
And
cut
we
you off with what
digress.
your thought was, but I needed to know.
Yeah, right. I know. Well, it's interesting and kind of thinking about it, and I have been experimenting. I did take Scott and I did create my own My GPT for my Friday email, so I don't have to recreate the question.
Yay!
And I actually, you know, I loaded my style, but then, you know, what I did is I actually put the Freddie Mac website that I pulled the data from
Mhm.
the rates, and it actually gave me the analysis on that without, you know, basically without it basically scraped the page. And
Yep.
then of course in the back of mind, then I'm thinking is that okay, so every podcast that we do, every video we do the auto cap on there and have the translation, so that way kind of getting back to again, well, that's a great new way to market ourselves, to make sure that this is the content that I'm providing. So I need to be in that top 10 list when
Yep.
somebody starts requesting it.
Yeah, exactly. And those are the things. It doesn't mean you have to do more content. It means you need to think about what kind of content you're doing, where it's going, and how you can repurpose it. So let's use a podcast as an example. So you know, podcasts, you do a podcast, we produce podcasts for our clients, we give them 2 video clips. And so in addition to the podcast, which goes onto YouTube, it also goes on to all the streaming platforms. Then you take that transcription and you put that in to the description on all the podcasts, and now you have that written word. So you have the audio, you have the video, and then you have the written transcription. So you're hitting it from all of those areas, and it's evergreen. It's always there, so you can use it over and over again. So even though like maybe you did a podcast a month ago or 2 months ago, and you can take and you can repurpose it over again. You can pull a different clip out of it. Those are the things. Whenever I'm thinking about what's the highest and best use of my time, honestly, I think the podcasts are one of the best that you can do. And it's not oversaturated. There's not too many of them, all that kind of stuff. We just drove from Seattle to Portland yesterday, listened to podcasts the entire time.
So I
So
think
that's one thing.
yeah, I think that it's, my wife Lisa did a podcast with a top agent in Ames, and actually it was a podcast. It's done by another gentleman in a law firm. And then, of course, in the back of my mind, I'm like, we actually listened to it yesterday when we were driving back from the lake. And I'm like, there were so many clips in that
Yeah.
that actually describes the relationship of what a realtor is looking for and what a lender is looking for in each other, that I'm like, okay, those are such great clips that if you were to put that in ChatGPT, they need to pick that up in terms of, well, what would create a good relationship with a realtor? What would create a good relationship with a lender? And in my mind, it's like, well, you already have that loaded into because you did this great video,
Yep.
Lisa and Ellie, right? Type of situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are all the kind of things to think about and to use those. And then, of course, continue to learn, look for those new things. So you want to make little clips. There's an AI software that's called Vidyo, Vidyo, and it'll take that. There's also Get Munch. There's several different AI tools out there that'll take your long form videos, clip them into shorter videos, and then you can use that and post those out as well. But, I think as we're closing this out, first of all, enjoy your summer. We will see you back in the fall. We'll probably do some different things, obviously posting and things like that. But continue to learn, continue to use, continue to find other ways to innovate and to think outside the box, just like you did, Steve, saying, hey, I just want to have the lessons from the five top salespeople. And that could change every time you put that in there. You could have, you could say in the mortgage industry, in the real estate industry, you could have in, sports history. What is sports history? I mean, you could have a whole theme. And that's the thing that I love. It's like things that you would have never thought about, or that would have taken you a really long time to research that and go find that information in all the different books to put that together, Steve, would have taken a long time, but
For
it
sure.
didn't take you any time.
It's
So
as we're breaking away for summer, the more you use it, the better you will understand it. You don't have to be an expert to start. It is an evolution. Move the mouse today.
I love that. Move the mouse today. Okay, so you guys have a wonderful summer. We will see you back in the fall, and stay tuned for more to come. So Fred, thanks so much. Steve, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.